Okay guys, we're going to make a new recipe today. And since we live in the South and we've had excessive heat and excessive rain recently, we're going to cook inside today. But you can make this on the grill also, because we've done it before. We're going to make a chorizo cornbread. So the first thing I'm going to do is saute some onions. And I'm going to cook some corn with it also to put in my cornbread. And I'm going to put a little salt and pepper in there. Getting salt everywhere. And this just take a few minutes to saute them, just to get the onions a little soft. And cook the corn just a little bit, because we're going to put this in the cornbread. Now I'm going to add a little bit of garlic to my veggies. Now you want to wait and put your garlic in last, because garlic will burn easily and get bitter. So you want to put that in the last little bit of how you're going to cook your veggies. That way you don't overcook your garlic and burn it. Now I'm going to take these off, and I'm going to put it in my bowl. And I'm going to save this for just a little bit. Add some more cornbread. And I'm sorry guys, I'm left-handed, so I can't show you me dipping it out here. There's my veggies in the bowl. Now I'm going to get my chorizo out so we can cook it in the same pan. Because, hey, why make extra dishes if you don't got to? Just cut this open. And I'm going to add this whole case of chorizo in here. Cook. Come out, come out, come out. Guys, I'm going to wash my hands real quick as I touch this. And my husband's being kind enough to break up the chorizo for me, Tom, while I wash my hands. Because as you know, we don't want to cross-contaminate. All right, we're going to put this back on the eye, and we're going to start cooking and browning our chorizo. Now, with this being kind of a sausage product, it's going to make some fat also. And if you've ever had any Southern cornbread or made Southern cornbread in like a cast iron skillet, a lot of grandmas and mas, their secret of their recipe of doing it is they would put their oil in their cast iron first, or their fat in their cast iron pan, and put it in the oven and get it really, really hot before they would put their cornbread in there. So I'm hoping that I'm going to have enough fat from this chorizo left in here that I can just heat it up in my cast iron skillet. and use that fat to heat my pan up and then put my cornbread in there. And this won't take but a couple of minutes because as you see, it's pretty loose anyway, and that's just how the chorizo is. So it doesn't take that long to like cook it and get it crumbly because it's not very thick material anyway. It's not doing like regular breakfast sausage. So this don't normally take too long to do. I'm going to let that cook just a moment. You see it's starting to make the fat and everything in the bottom of the pan from cooking it. It's releasing the oils and everything out of the sausage. Which, if you think about it, this cast iron actually is really hot right now too from me cooking the chorizo, so I might not have to actually heat it in the oven or anything. We can probably just add the cornbread to it and start cooking it in the oven like we want. Okay, and this chorizo looks like it's about pretty much done. And it's okay if it's not quite all the way done. I'm not saying that's like safe to eat, but since we're fixing to cook it again in the oven, it will continue to cook. So you don't have to worry about that. You know, the chorizo will be all the way cooked. But we'll go ahead and spread all this out, and then we'll add the cornbread to it. And then since, like I said, the pan's already hot, then won't have to worry about that. So I have a corn muffin mix I'm going to use. And I'm going to put that in my bowl. And it says you need 1 egg slightly beaten, which I have right here. So we're going to add that to my bowl. And we need some milk. So let's get the milk out of the refrigerator. Oh my goodness. Everything's in the way. And we've got to have a 1/2 cup of milk, so that's my 1/2 cup. So I'll pour that in there. And I'm gonna, my husband put that back in there. And I'm gonna start whisking up my cornbread batter here. And as you see, it only takes a moment in which to do that. Now, since I'm making a chorizo one, and I don't know, I guess you can say chorizo is kind of Spanish or Mexican. I'm gonna put some seasoning in it. Now, if you want to, you can use taco seasoning, make your own homemade taco seasoning, use burrito, fajita, whatever you like. I'm going to put some fajita mix and use whatever brand and whatever kind you like that you want to put in there, just to add some more flavor to my cornbread. So I'm going to add that to my cornbread mix and stir that in. Smells like fajitas. And see, that'll permeate all the way through the cornbread since we went ahead and mixed that in there. And now I have a little can of green chilies. Earlier, I went ahead and drained all the liquid off of there just to make it a little spicy. I'm going to put that in there also, which the chorizo is going to have a little spice to it, but it's not terribly spicy. So I thought green chilies would be nice. So we're going to add that in there also and mix it in. And then if my husband would be so kind and hand me some cheese, we're going to put that in there too. All right, and now we're going to take and add just a little bit of mild cheddar in our cornbread too. About 2 or 3 good handfuls to be good. And I'm going to get rid of this whisk because we got everything else mixed in there. Instead of beating my cheese to death, we're just going to fold it in there with the spatula. Now I have my chorizo in the pan still, and it still has fat in the bottom of the pan. So I'm going to add my cornbread mix to my chorizo in my pan. All right. Got a little excess on me. Let me get that off. As you can see some of the fat right there on the side of the pan from the chorizo. So I'm going to mix the chorizo in also with my cornbread, so it's not all sitting on the bottom. So that way our chorizo will be all incorporated into our cornbread also. And as you can see, all the fat that's running on top of it too. So that'll help it when it goes to cook in the oven. All right, guys, I think that's good and mixed. Okay, and this will probably take maybe 20-25 minutes. It should be like nice and golden brown. Oh, I almost forgot, guys. Look at there. Almost forgot our corn and onions. I did all that work. That would have been sad to forget it. Our garlic. I would have been upset with myself. It's okay. We're going to mix that in there too real quick. All right, now everything's in there. And like I was saying, it'll take maybe 20-25 minutes or so to cook it. Your best bet on checking it is going to be just like checking a cake. You're going to want to take a toothpick and run it through your cornbread to see if your toothpick comes out clean. Okay, let's put this in here and then we'll check it in just a little bit and see if we're ready to go. All right. Okay, it's time to check our cornbread now. Oh, look at that, guys. It's brown, and yes, it looks a little red and everything too, but that's okay. That's from the chorizo. Because that chorizo had that red color. So we're going to take a toothpick here and check our cornbread, which is coming out clean. Yes, the toothpick's a little, orange or red, you can say, but that's just from the chorizo. But it's not cakey or anything. So our cornbread is good and it's ready to go. So we're going to let it cool and then we'll be able to eat.